So when I say that the church and the rest of the world isn't that different right now, it's because, I'll be honest, as rooted, even our group, we're at this understanding where we're starting to say, okay, Jesus came to save me, yes, for eternity, but for my everyday stinking life. And the world's not that far behind, because we're just starting to get this stuff. Because even Jesus, whose ministry is still affecting the world to this day, felt that it was important to be based somewhere. I'll tell you what fuels us, why we want people to come, really when it comes down to it, is it's a place called Capernaum. Jesus was, lived in Nazareth. He was known as Jesus from Nazareth. But when he goes public with his ministry and who he is and the fact that he's divine, when he starts his public ministry, he bases it out of a place called Capernaum. But for us, what we believe is that we can be a place where whatever you feel you're called to, you're gifted to, whatever you want to do with your life in terms of a trade or a degree or a career, whatever it is, that you need a Capernaum to base your life and your calling out of. And our job as the church, according to Ephesians 4, is to give you everything that we possibly can so that you'll grow and achieve your full potential and calling in life. But this is the stuff that the apostles were originally preaching. The early church, when we say, oh, I want to be a part of a church that looked like the early church, it was a church that cared and lived in the reality and the power of the gospel. So when I think about, because I invite people all the time to our Wednesday nights, whether I meet them at Starbucks or somewhere else, because the fact of the matter is, they're in just as rough a shape as the rest of us, except they don't know about Jesus as the answer. So we're all a bunch of normal, screwed up sinners getting better because we're learning about Christ. And He's literally changing our lives. And not just hey, I go to church every Sunday, but this is changing who I am, the way I view myself, the way I live, what I find pleasure in, what I find fulfillment in, what I find life in. So we're all in the same place in the fact that we're worshiping the wrong stuff, and it's not paying off in the end. But when we know Christ, it changes everything. And I am a perfect example of that. But I think a basic discipline is committing to a church. And that when you have that Capernaum, you have that place to call home. Whether you're called to travel the world for the rest of your life, you always have a place to come back to and say, this is my home. Capernaum means village of comfort. That's what the name meant. And so no matter what you feel your calling is to affect the world, whether it's missions or relief work, or to be a church planter, or to be a pastor, or to be a lawyer or a politician, whatever you feel like you're called to do, I think our generation desperately wants to have purpose and make a difference on this world. You need a place to call home. You need a place that cares about you when you've gone out and labored hard for your calling. That you can come home and find the village of comfort where your friends back you. And not only that, as a church, it's our job to equip you for your calling. And the best way we can equip you for your calling is to equip you to know Christ. And I'm not just saying that cliche. I'm saying know Him intimately, desperately, that He's everything to you, that He's your root system. So that whatever you do, whatever your calling is, no matter what comes at you, your root system, your foundation is strong because it's Christ. And nothing's going to take you out. But without a Capernaum, you're a wave being tossed in the sea, being blown by the winds. Anything can take you out, but a tree planted, nothing can touch that if the roots are deep and strong and healthy. And we believe that those roots are to be in Christ, to know the Word, and to be in the body. To be in the body.